We have our first speaker for the evening. That is Estia Krier. She's speaking level 2 on presentation skills. And the title is My First Mentor. But Lynette Vermaak is her evaluator. Lynette, will you kindly tell us what is the objectives that Estia need to achieve? You can sit rightly or stand rightly and give us the criteria for Estia's speech. Thank you.
Mr. Toastmaster, the purpose of the speech is for the project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring, and then also for the member to share some aspects of their previous mentoring experience as a protege. This is what Estia is doing this evening.
Thank you, Lynette. So, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters, please help me welcome Estia, speaking to the title, My First Mentor, Estia Krier. So I think while Estia is traveling, or just trying to get a system going, sorry that was like apologies. But it is sometimes difficult to get equipment started. It happened to me as well, and you know what I did 2 weeks ago? I called on Nando, because Nando didn't want me to set up. He said, listen, you come immediately and sit down. So I told Nando, I said, while I am sorting out the PowerPoint presentation, I want you to come to the front and fill the silent moments. So he did, and I think I did. Good.
Excuse me, can you turn off the front lights? It would be easier to see the presentation. This now.
Yeah, that's great.
There we go.
It's like it.
I know the person doing the evaluation.
Fine. Perfect.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests and visitors. Tonight's speech is about mentoring and proteges. But it's not really about being a protege in the Toastmasters environment. It's about being a protege at any stage of your life. But what is a protege? Protege is actually a French word, and the meaning of the word is literally to protect. And it's, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, to protect or the one who is protected. So every single one of us has been a protege in our lives, because learning never stops. I mean, even one of our most experienced speakers, Frans, can still learn something from new members. He can still be challenged. Maybe a new way of doing things, maybe a new way of structuring a speech. We all have been proteges and we all can learn. So if you look across the room, maybe just find someone and find, we're not going to say this, but think of one word you can maybe describe that specific person. Is it maybe kind, or genuine, or intelligent, or funny? Think of that specific word. And then I want you to take it back to the qualities of a protege. A protege is willing to learn. A protege is not stuck in his own ways. You're always open for something new. You're open to feedback, and you're also coachable. Now back to those words. If there's one word I would love people to remember me by, it's the word humble. One of the most powerful traits a protege can have is humility. Humility allows you to say, I don't know everything. It empowers you to say, I can learn from you. And it motivates you to say, I know I can improve. And there is a picture of my father. I lost him when I was 16 years old due to a very sudden heart attack. Yes, we definitely didn't have enough time to make memories. We didn't have enough time to spend time together. We didn't have enough time to have many conversations. Or for the advice he would give me as he grew older. Or for us to create memories or have fun together. But he learned me one thing. The importance of humility. It was enough time for him to teach me how important it is to treat people the same. Whether it is a CEO, I don't know, is anyone?
Yeah, it's not really selfish.
I'm showing something to it was enough time for him to teach me not to treat the CEO different than a person sweeping the floor. The importance of humility is definitely not as a weakness, it's a strength. He was very, very strict about appreciating the small things in life, not needing something big to excite you, but to be amazed by the really small things, to be grateful for whatever you have, and not necessarily concentrating on what you don't have. And also to treat every person the same. These lessons shaped my life. It shaped how I approached my work, my relationships, but most of all, and aren't they beautiful, how I raised my kids. And I think it was really something I wanted to install in them as well, the importance of humility. So that they would never ever think in their life that they are more important than someone else. If my kids can carry that single personality trait further in their life, and if they can choose only one, I hope it would be humility, and then I would be very happy. Proteges and mentorship. Mentorship is not only about giving advice. I think in the Toastmasters environment, my mentor is Christine, and I learned so much from her, but what I also realized, in the end, you're not only taking the advice you get from her, but there's also other things, other values and other things in her life which you're also starting to look at. So it's definitely more than just advice on what she's actually supposed to be giving you. In fact, it's about living the values you hope others will adopt as well. The most powerful mentors shape character, not just actions, because I think in the end it's not what we do, but how we do it. So this mentorship cycle, sometimes in your life, somewhere you are shaped by someone, whether it is a parent or a coach, whatever it is. But the most beautiful thing of that cycle is that eventually the protege becomes the mentor. The lessons we received, we are destined to pass on. And that way I hope to continue the legacy. If people can describe me as someone who is humble, I know my very first mentor did his job well. Thank you.
Thank you, Estia. Thank you for the lights again. I think you'll find what happened last week is when Stefan, when he recorded me, and then I had a look at the recording, you couldn't see my face at all. So that's why we've decided to add some light to it. Maybe it's going to come out. I think it will definitely look better, especially now that the lights are also, out.
There should be more light on the person presenting than.
And what did it look like on the camera? Could you see more? Was it?
Yeah, the part that she had, like she was standing in the shadow, so she was darker than the presentation.
From a camera point of view, where would you maybe want the speaker to stand? Towards this side?
Maybe change the light to face the speaker.
So while they're sorting it out, it is important. I'll tell you why it's important. If you display a video on YouTube and someone else needs to watch it, and if the quality of the light is good, you look good immediately. Then you would want that video to be out. If the quality of the light is not good, it makes you as a speaker not looking good. So therefore, I think let's play with the light again and see what is going to come out from it. But for now, Mr. Grammarian, are you ready to give us your grammarian report?
Yes.
Thank you.
I used the words protege and humility. These words in our everyday life, we don't really hear it. And it's nice to hear it. And also ST fully explained what they mean. That was very good. I'm using the fuller words. Fuller words, I only heard once, but it was very short. I didn't hear the word of the day.
Yeah. I
But-
knew where I wanted to use it, but I didn't.
But great speech, it was very touching and stuff. We all enjoyed it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So what we do at Toastmasters is we clap for the person when he speaks, or when he fulfills the role. Because we as human beings, we don't really want to fulfill a role because we are afraid that we're going to fail, and therefore we don't do it. We don't do anything because we're scared that we're going to fail, and that will result into us not participating. So I firmly believe Toastmasters is a platform where you can learn by doing, and you can fail. I really, if I try new speeches, this is the platform where I play with them because I get feedback. I think that's important. Questions and answers from the audience. Talk about the content only. I think afterwards, in the feedback session, we'll talk about the presentation as such. Anyone? Questions? Questions to Estia? Esti? Nothing. Yes, Paul.
I'll throw one in. It's not to counter what you said, but it is an interesting cultural difference. And it's also just a difference in background. I'm a big believer in what you said, so I'm not trying to counter that. But it's interesting how across cultures, humility is massively different and how it's emphasised. So as a Johnny foreigner here, someone from England, we are more cautious usually about talking about ourselves, whereas I find South Africans are far more upfront and almost, I don't want to be insulting, but it's on the edge of arrogance sometimes versus competence. And that's it's a very much more common thing with Americans. And at the other end of the spectrum that I found, the Scandinavians actually they describe it as a social law. It's called Jante's law, where in essence you really can't, it's extremely frowned upon to be anything above anybody else at all. And doesn't matter your station in life, anything. Jante's law is something that governs all social interactions. And that's the extreme end of humility. But it's very difficult to know how to balance this in different cultures and across different environments. And I think as well, I'm going to throw this in as a bomb, you can catch me later, but there's also a gender difference there as well. Because men value themselves on hierarchy. And so if you're in, say, a high-pressure sales environment, then sometimes humility is not the appropriate thing. And yet, in general, it's very difficult to take down humility as a kind of central doctrine.
I like the way you framed it, because you weren't saying you are humble, you're saying you'd like to be considered, and if people remember you as part of your legacy, humility should be one of the strengths that they remember. So it's a little bit less arrogant, it's more like that's what you are challenging yourself or hoping for, and that brings it across in a humble way, in my opinion, which makes you feel, oh, what am I looking for? What would I like to be remembered as? Funny or good looking? Anybody? So I like the way you did it, because you were asking the question, or you were stating it in a question in, could I be, this is something I would like to be. So it was very good.
Thank you. I think that's about what we've got time for. One more, okay, Kevin?
Just a quick one. You said that you passed this on, obviously you've noticed that you've passed this on to your children, and I'm just curious, looking at different personality types, do you feel that it equally carried over to all of them, or are there some of them that it carried over to more than others?
I think I can honestly say that, it was, for me, it was almost an issue. So every morning on our way to school, I talked about it. So it was almost an issue for me that they can never ever in their life think about their life. And I mean, they are wonderful kids, all in professional positions. But I think, even gender-wise, personality-wise, I think they do.
So it does have to do a lot with how you drill it into them and teach them. So your parenting style contributed a lot.
Definitely.
Okay. Thanks.
Well done.
Are you ready with your formal evaluation? Please.
Just get the timekeeper's report.
Timekeeper's report. We can have the timekeeper's report before you. Not a problem.
So the allotted time was 7 minutes, and you finished your speech in 6 minutes 35 seconds.
All right.
Estia, thank you so much for a really interesting speech. And the lesson that you put across in your speech about humility, I found was valuable and applicable to everybody. Despite the conversation on either side of the fence here, I believe that it was a valuable lesson to share. You engaged the audience well vocally. What you did do is, I would like to encourage that you practice your setup beforehand so that we don't, but that's a thing for everybody, so that we don't have setup problems before we're about to speak. And that you get a clicker for your computer or the club invests in a clicker that everyone can use. I'm not quite sure whose responsibility it is, because they will stand away from the screen. So that you're not obscuring people's view of your presentation, because you need to go closer to the screen to change it each time. I think that your use of the mic was probably better than mine, because I haven't used it at all yet, but it does need a little bit of practice, I think. And then the other thing is that, your slides. I found your slides very interesting, and you went through them at different paces. The first few slides, you had quite a lot to say about the slide before you moved it on. And then the other slides moved faster. I don't know if it was something to do with timing, if that's how you planned it. And they entered, maybe I couldn't see too well, they entered differently. So your slides, the way you presented them and put them together, I found that engaging and very interesting. So well done. And you